Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new video in Forza Horizon 4 where we're going to be talking about some of the new Car Pass cars as well as a couple of other updates from the recent stream that Turn 10 and Playground Games actually did. And I'm going to be going over some of my favorites from the Forza Horizon 4 section of this stream. But also remember that I believe next week, Playground Games are going to be doing a stream of their own detailing many more of the things coming in Horizon 4 itself. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into some of my personal favorites from this stream that I wanted to talk about. Now, the Quartz Regalia, the Final Fantasy car, as you guys all know from Forza Horizon 3, is coming back with two variants. One is the normal Quartz Regalia, now with basically a top that folds down, as well as a off-road version that is so huge, it basically looks like it has 1-ton axles underneath it. Hell, maybe even 2.5-ton axles underneath it. It's absolutely gigantic. It's got, 3 exhaust pipes coming out of both rear sides of the car. It's freaking insane. And the detail on it is just, actually, it's really cool. Now, they described it on screen, on stream as a really heavily modified trophy truck, and I was kind of like, it seems more like a Unimog almost than a trophy truck, but it's almost like you took you took the Quartz Regalia and dropped it on top of a military vehicle frame and axles, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a crazy cool idea. But I don't know. We'll definitely have to wait and see what that thing is actually like to drive when it comes out, because it's very interesting indeed. Now, another car that I wanted to talk about that I know a lot of people are going to be excited about is the 300ZX. Yes, the 300ZX is on its way, and I am very excited to see how that car actually drives and what you can actually do to it. I'm hoping for some wide-body stuff, and I'm hoping for some drift-inspired stuff, but I'm also hoping that there's just a lot of things you can do to that car revolving around customization, because that's a very heavily customized car, and it's a very dearly held onto car in the rear wheel drive Japanese import community. So that car will definitely be a highlight. Another very interesting car that I didn't actually think would be coming, but ends up actually being a big part of this next car pass is the PRELUDE SI. So the PRELUDE SI is a little bit different than some of the cars we've seen in the past, but it's cool that it's here, and it's definitely going to be an interesting car for a lot of people. And I think that there are people that are going to identify with that car closely, because I can see how people would have bought that as maybe like a first car or something like that. But that's a very interesting one and a very cool car to be being included here. Now, another one that I am personally very excited about is the Escalade. So the Escalade as well as the Cadillac Eldorado are coming in, and that is going to be insane. Now, the interesting thing to me about the Escalade is, what are your engine swap options going to be? I mean, there's got to be some sort of crazy amount of engine swaps out there available for it, because think about it. It's huge. It's, it's basically a comedy vehicle, right? It's basically a comedy vehicle, and it's either going to be heavily used for, well, a few different things. One, people are going to make it into an off-road vehicle, like we loved to do like years ago back in Horizon 1, I think? By the way, this Mini cut me off, and I'm still mildly salty about it. But no, not really. I'm more turned into him than anything. But I remember lifting an Escalade and taking it off-road back in, it was either Horizon 1 or Horizon 2. I think it was Horizon 1, actually. But the Eldorado is also coming in, and that car is going to be cool because it's very long, and I can see some really interesting drift builds coming out of that, actually, because you think about it being such a massively long wheelbase, and then you think about all the engine swap options you probably have, and you've got a car that's prime and ready to do some hilarious drifts, because let's be honest here, I mean, the long wheelbase cars are really easy to drift and slide around, but something like that with an engine bay that big, I mean, it's got to be able to fit some absolutely crazy engines. Now, something else that's actually very interesting here is TVR. So TVR is bringing the Griffith and the Tuscan S, and those two are going to be really interesting cars. I think the Griffith is going to be cool not only to see because it's brand new, but it's also going to be cool to take that thing through its paces as a drift car, because I feel like it would be a decent platform for both drift stuff and race stuff, but I think that it's going to be drifted more than anything else. I can definitely see myself drifting it more than anything else. I think the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a drift car. That's just what it's going to be. I mean, if you have any other idea of what you're going to use the TVR Griffith for, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to be using any and all of these cars for, because they're all very, very cool cars in their own way, and I think that the cool, the cool things about each car are going to come down to who ends up driving them. So I think the drift community is gonna adapt a lot of these cars, but maybe not necessarily all of them. However, the next one that I wanted to mention is definitely going to be used for lots of burnouts, lots of slides, lots of drifts, and that is the MONARO VXR. Now, the MONARO VXR is effectively the Australian version of the GTO that we got here in the US, and it's pretty much that same platform. And so you've basically got a front engine LS, LS engine rear wheel drive platform that's really good at doing burnouts and donuts and going sideways. Now, they are very, very heavy, so I'm not expecting it to be some sort of great race chassis, but what I am expecting it to be is a absolute blast to drive. Because, I mean, on screen right now, we're drifting around in my C5 Corvette drift car, which it's not exactly dialed into where I want it, but I can see the MONARO VXR kind of being in the same vein as my C5 Vet drift car, because they both fulfill similar roles, I think, and they also come from a time period where, you had that raw, simple LS engine, then you could just put boost to it, and it would wake right up and just go nuts. I mean, hell, you put a cam in it, and it would wake right up. You don't even have to boost it. I mean, you could boost it if you want to go crazy, but you don't necessarily even have to do that. You could just build it into like a fun drift platform that you can just go and hoon around in. So I'm very, very excited for all of these cars, and I'm very excited to see what is going to be coming soon for the spring season of Horizon 4. Not only do I mean the spring season as in the season that's coming next in-game, but the spring season of updates coming into spring of 2019, because there's a lot of stuff to look forward to going into 2019 with Forza Horizon 4, as well as Forza Motorsport 7. Now, in Motorsport 7, they have teased that they are doing some things like a penalty system, and they said that the penalty system may be coming into the game in March. So if you are a hardcore racer, I could definitely see that being something that you'll be very, very interested in. I definitely want to give it a try and just see what it's like to play Forza with a penalty system and with like a caution system, and basically getting punished for doing things that are slightly out of whack on the racetrack. So that would involve things like corner cutting or deliberately slamming into people, and they've said on their stream that they've been testing out loads of different things regarding that type of gameplay and that type of behavior, because obviously nobody wants to get rammed into or flown by, in the middle of a corner and not be able to do anything about it, right? If you get pushed off the track by somebody and then you go on to see them win the race, that doesn't really leave that great of a taste in your mouth, and that's actually happened to me before. I've had multiple experiences of I'll be in third place, maybe just kind of cruising along in an online race, and someone comes out of nowhere, plows into me, smashes me off the track, and then they end up going on to place on the podium, second or third, or maybe sometimes even winning the race. So it's definitely an interesting concept to see how they would work. With maybe dishing out some punishment for doing some out of whack stuff on the racetrack. But I'm very curious to see how that works, and I'm very curious to see how the community reacts to it, because I would wonder about the accuracy of a system like that. Like, if you accidentally tapped somebody else, and then got punished for it, that would suck, right? That would be awful. If you ended up getting tapped by somebody else's car, or if you ended up tapping somebody else's car and you didn't mean to, and it was just a light tap, and the game was like, oh, we're going to slow your car like way down, even though you didn't mean to do that. Like, I would hate that, and I feel like that's not the right approach to have. But if it's something, where they really can tell where, the intent is coming from. Now, they can't really, I feel like they're never going to be able to actually, fully tell, but I feel like with enough testing, they can get pretty close, and I'm very curious to see, after all that testing is concluded, what they come up with. So if that ends up being a thing in Motorsport 7 in March, I will definitely be curious to check it out and actually see what all is going on with that. So hope you all enjoyed this video detailing some of the things coming into Horizon 4 as well as Motorsport 7, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you click that like button. Tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all next time. Talk to you guys later.